Hi, welcome back to Job Opportunity, and today we have a very special episode in store for you guys. Today we have Mrs. Jessie Kim, who is a senior designer at the clothing company Velvet by Graham and Spencer. Today we're going to be asking her a few questions about her job. So just to start off with the first easy question, can you just briefly explain your profession or just explain to us what your job is in a nutshell?
Sure. I'm a senior fashion designer at Velvet by Graham and Spencer. It's a clothing brand. And my primary job responsibility is for designing and making clothes for our women's division. I manage a team of designers, assistant designers, and pattern makers who work together to create new products about 1 year in advance from selling to consumers.
All right, great. Thank you. So the next one is, why did you initially pursue this career over others?
Well, I always wanted to be in something creative, and I always loved clothing. So this was natural path to something I like to do.
Wow. So what was the academic pathway you took to get to where you are today?
I went to FIDM. It's a Fashion Institute Design and Merchandising. And this college is mainly focused in fashion design and career and fashion in general.
Mm, thank you. So another one, kind of just a normal question, but what does an ordinary day look like for you at your office?
An ordinary day starts with a brief team meeting with my team and checking emails, research, designing, meeting with vendors such as fabric, trims, and fitting, reporting to the status to my creative director, and
Mhm.
working with pattern makers and sewers and cutters.
So next question here. For college, as you mentioned before, you did attend the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising in LA, California, which is one of the most prestigious fashion design schools, colleges in the entire country, which is very impressive. So could you just describe what your experience was like at FIDM?
Um, so my experience at FIDM was uh, one of the most memorable time because um, I was able to join top 10 students to do a debut show, and that was very exciting. And amongst top 10, 4 people got full scholarship for the whole year, which I was able to get one of the scholarship.
Wow, that's very impressive. So another question I have is, what is one thing that people assume about your job that is not true?
Well, people assume that a fashion career is a very glamorous profession, which is only partially true because sometimes it could be glamorous, such as going to New York, Paris, or other foreign countries. That could be the glamorous part of it, but for the most part, it's one of the most stressful profession since everything works around the deadline and predict future trends and produce products that will be on time and generating profitable sales. So
Mhm.
I would say more than being glamour, it's more stressful.
Mhm. Okay, so that kind of touches upon my next question. Is there anything else, because you kind of just touched upon it? Uh, what is the most difficult aspect of your job? Is it, I know you just talked about like meeting the deadlines and then predicting trends, but is there anything else besides that?
Absolutely. There's so many things that could go wrong from beginning to an end of simple things such as making a t-shirt could go through so many different hands. So many things can go wrong, even wrong thread, wrong stitches, there's many things could go wrong with producing one simple garment. So that's something that people do not understand about, such simple t-shirt that you're wearing.
Yeah. All right, kind of moving on. So you kind of talked about a little bit earlier about like trends and trying to, as a like fashion designer, one of your jobs is trying to predict the like next trend, right? So I was just wondering, what kind of role does the media play in your everyday job as a designer?
Well, media play a very important role in the designing world, because fashion design is all about the trends and setting images and what people want to portray, and following the trendsetters. So media is very important.
Mm,
So nowadays, more than designer, people tend to look into any Instagrammers or
yeah,
things like that, more than looking into fashion magazines.
yeah, that is true. So next one, what are the qualities that you think are required to become a senior designer like you?
A senior designer requires not only to be able to design, but to lead a team. That is very important quality to be in any kind of upper management position.
All right. So next one, a little bit interesting one. So who's your inspiration as a designer? Like, where do you get your inspiration from?
Well, inspiration, we get it from many places. Mostly a good designer do have sense of having what the trend will be, and they could kind of have gut feeling of what they're going to be liking. Also, we look into a lot of trend books, and there are some fashion shows that goes on a way in advance for designer to look at, and just everything that news media, Instagram, everything that goes around could be something that we could be getting inspirations from.
Mm, okay. So earlier we asked about the most difficult aspect of your job. So on the flip side, what's the most rewarding part of your job?
The most rewarding part is when your things are selling well.
Yeah.
Especially when we get our selling reports, highs and low, what are selling, best, what are selling low, just
Hmm.
learning about why certain things are selling well and certain things doesn't seem to be selling, as well as others. Those are some highlights to um, for us to at least study and
Yeah.
enjoy.
Okay. So our last question here. Thank you, by the way, for all your answers for the previous ones. But what is one thing that you would tell others that are aspiring to be in the same field as you or in the same profession?
To become a fashion designer, you definitely need to be dedicated and you need to be passionate. A lot of people get burned out very easily, because again, at the end of the day, it's not about what you design, but it's what you sell, because that's what's gonna make you to be a good designer versus a designer whose product doesn't sell. So at the end of the day, we need to create something that is eventually going to sell and generate profitability for the company that you're at. So it's a difficult field, but very rewarding as well.
All right, thank you. Well, that is all that we have for you, Mrs. Kim. So, on behalf of Job Opportunity, I would just like to thank you for coming on here today and sharing your knowledge with all of us. And thank you also to all the viewers watching, and we will all see you next time. Bye.
Bye.